Sir, shall I start now, sir?
Jay Kumar. Jay Kumar. Start, ma'am.
A very pleasant and cheerful morning to one and all present here. It is said that the aim of education is the knowledge, not of facts, but of values. It is an occasion like this we get opportunities to test our knowledge and understanding. It's given me an immense pleasure to welcome you all for the generic talk on generative AI, prompt engineering for code generation. The words of greetings are essential for meeting. I now request Dr. P. Erumalai, Professor and Head, Department of CSE, to welcome this gathering. Please, sir.
Thank you, Manisha. So, good morning, everyone present here. Let us welcome for today's Generic Talk Series 23rd Generic Talk Series, Mr. J. Dinesh, Senior Cloud Engineer, Presidio, is going to give the topic Generative AI Prompt Engineering for Code Generation. So, this is a good topic for this necessary topic, thrust area for nowadays. Okay, in this regarding, I thanks for all the coordinators who are arranged for this event, Dr. Vedraj. I thank for Dr. Mandu Principal, R.M.D. College, for giving the opportunity to arrange this generic talks. Thanks for management for opportunity for creating this type of generic talk every Sunday. So I thanks for all the faculty members, professors, faculty members, and students. So everyone to joining here to get a fruitful way of today's hot topic for generic AI. So let me welcome all the gatherings for this generic topic, generative AI for prompt engineering for code generation. I hope this topic will be get useful for us in future. Thanks for the opportunity. I welcome once again all for this. So get a great success for this event. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity once again. Manisha. Dinesh.
Sir, 1 minute. I now request Dr. M. Vedraj, Professor, Department of CSE, to introduce the chief guest, Mr. Dinesh J, Senior Cloud Engineer, Presidio, Chennai. Please, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, honorable present here. It is my great pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Dinesh J, a proud alumni of R.M.D. Engineering College. Mr. Dinesh completed his BE in Computer Science and Engineering in 2019. He is currently working as Senior Cloud Engineer at Presidio, Chennai. Mr. Dinesh has excellent skills in problem solving and analytics, particularly in the field of artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and DevOps. He holds several important certifications, including AWS Certified Solution Architect Professional, AWS Certified SysOps Administrator Associate, Certified Kubernetes Application Developer. Mr. Dinesh is highly experienced in designing and managing scalable infrastructure with a specialized knowledge in Amazon Web Services and Kubernetes. Mr. Dinesh is skilled in automation, CI/CD pipelines, container management, and system monitoring. Along with his technical skills, he enjoys mentoring teams, sharing his knowledge, and improving system through new ideas. He has successfully completed many complex projects and is dedicated to achieving excellence in his work. Let us welcome Mr. Dinesh J to share his knowledge today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With great enthusiasm, we now move to on the most awaited part of the today's program, the session by our distinguished speaker. He has wealth of experience and knowledge in the domain of engineering and technology, and he has kindly agreed to share his insights with us today. We warmly welcome you to begin the session, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope I'm audible. Thanks for the introduction and thanks for the opportunity. So it's been every time it's a pleasure to be a guest and to speak on topics and share my knowledge to my college, especially. So on the topic of today, right, generative AI prompt engineering. Let me share the screen. If you could able to see my screen.
Yeah, visible.
Okay, cool. So we know about generative AI, right? So there is a lot of talks going on generative AI, like how everything like the from the software to all the art forms, for example, music and picture generation, everything is like so everything everywhere we have been seeing a part of AI now, right? So wherever it doesn't give a complete product also, but it tends to play a major role in building that product. So that's where the AI comes in. So the major part of AI that works in the back end, like let's say vector databases, RAG models, and machine learning models, everything, right? So everything is a part and clustered to be a part of AI, right? So data that is being given is processed and the data is generated, right? So this is what AI plays in the major role, right? So how we can for nowadays, right? So how we can let's say promptly use AI, or let's say how usefully we can use AI, right? So how we can mend it together to prepare a particular AI to generate code or to generate audio or to generate some videos, right? So that's where this prompt engineering comes in. So yeah, so as you all know, right, just a small introduction about me. So I'm myself Dinesh J, working as a senior engineer in Presidio. I'm certified as a cloud and DevOps expert in multiple public clouds and DevOps tools. So yeah, that's a small intro about me. Yeah. So as I was saying on generative AI, right? So what does generative AI does? So it generates text, it generates images, code, and audio. How it does, like it processes the natural language which we give to the AI, and it processes everything using the vector databases, RAG, and machine learning models, and chat GPT models, right? GPT models, right? So that's how it generates the output, which the expected output, right? So nowadays the growth is more and more higher, so how we can like successfully use it, or let's say like how we can use it properly, like use AI properly for our output or for our day-to-day activities, right? So that's the purpose, right? So how we can do it, like let's say you just give us one liner, do something, what it will do, you just need to be clear on everything, right? So that's the small gist of prompt engineering. So on to the next slide. So yeah, so what advantages of generative AI, right? So it's not like we couldn't do anything without AI, but we can do everything with AI, which will tend to give some advantages rather than like starting from the scratch and doing it. So let's say accelerates the development. So when you're trying to develop a code or build an application, right? So let's say you're giving just a use case. That use case can GPT or AI can generate that code, and it can give you the output, the needed output or your required output, right? So that it can does. So let's say you can do that work in like 6 days. AI can, with the help of AI, right? You can complete it within a three. You can complete it 3 days. So that way we can save some time and cost and everything on it, right? And yeah, and on the enhances productivity, right? So yeah, it tends to, let's say, like as I said, right? So six days of work can be completed with 3 days. So this shows like how productive can be. So completing the work within a particular time frame, or they completing the work with a shorter duration might give you a lot of chances to test your code. Or let's say you wanted to add some more, or you want to fix some more, right? So that's one of the major advantages of generative AI, and reduces boilerplate writing, right? So when we start from, let's say when we start from the scratch, right? So we tend to go from scratch and do some files, put some files and put some schemas and everything to start from it, and it might almost take a day, right? So when we are like just having a start of it, right? So what from with the use of generative AI, right? It gives a boilerplate template. So let's say it gives a startup template. There you can go and add your data to it, and you can enhance it more and more. So that way you can reduce the 2 day span of writing a code from scratch or doing something from a scratch. So that's the major advantage of generative AI. So these there are much more to it, but these three, when it comes to software development and in IT technologies that is being now, right, IT services that is being given. So these three are the major advantages from the use of generative AI. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a picture of from a famous movie called Kalki. Hope you have seen it. So this is a bot which is called as Buji. You know, right? You can, if most of them have watched the movie, may know it. So what it does sometimes, like the character, the hero says something, it does some other thing. So it doesn't do anything that is expected, right? So what it confuses a bit, and it tends to do some things rather than what it is expected. So this is completely a failure, right? So well, let's say not a complete failure. It's not it is not used in particular way. So that's how it tends to be, right? So how we can use it in a particular way, and how we can mend it to become a better product or become a better assistant, right? So that's where you just come the prompt engineering comes in. So what is prompt engineering? So prompt engineering is art and science of crafting effective instructions to get the optimal result from AI models. So as I said, yeah. So what you ask what you need, and you get what you need. So that's the effective output or the optimal result that you'll get, right? So that's where this prompt engineering will help you in in the space of generative AI. So it's been a growth for some in the current period now. So to use the AI models and to everything, right? So to generate the accurate data or optimal data. So that's where this prompt engineering helps you. So yeah, so accurate, your data is accurate, plus you get the relevant output, and it is like efficient, completing the task within like lesser time than how it will take with the human hands, right? So that's where you get the desired output. So when you don't get a desired output, right, it tends to be a failure. So you need to have a desired output, or it's a waste of time. Let's say you're spending generating AI for like almost like 2 or 3 days, and you don't get an desired output, and it is a failure, right? So to effectively use the AI, you need to have certain things. So put, you need to give an input of certain things. So that's what the prompt engineering actually does. So it's just an art of like let's say being specific, or let's say being clear on context, providing examples, something like that. So that's where this prompt engineering is. So I hope like everyone would have seen this in multiple area. This is an image like. It was created by generative AI, and you could have seen from LinkedIn too. There will be a lot of posts on like AI creating image from the companies, or let's say if you would have followed the AWS community buildup, which happened like last month, you would have seen this image of speakers or organizers too, right? So this is what generative AI does. You just give a command to it, and you just give a prompt, and you be specific on it, it will build it. So let's say you just give a prompt like build a show a picture of Cristiano Ronaldo. It will not give this, right? So you need to be specific, like create like a toy from Mattel with a Cristiano Ronaldo footballer, with a smaller chips of smaller items of football boots and World Cup win there. So that's how you need to be specific to AI, and you need to do it. So that's where this prompt engineering comes in, to be you to be specific on what you do and what you give to, and that's where you can get the expected results. So why it matters? So why your prompt engineering matters? As I said, right? Yeah, if you want to use a generative AI effectively, you need to give a better prompts. So if you give a better prompts, you will get a better code, or a better output. Okay. So let's say, for example, you just say build a Python code for doing this a recursive function. Okay, and it just builds a recursive function. But what the function does, it does nothing. So you need to be specific. Build a Python code for recursive function to to write a palindrome or to get a, let's say, to counter numbers from 100 to 1. So that's how you give the code. So you just need to give a better prompt so that you will get a better code to it. And if you are being specific, right, you can avoid the bugs, you can avoid bugs and also hallucinations. Hallucinations are nothing like, let's say you tend to go in a direction and sometimes some roadblocks or something comes in and you will change your direction, right? And it will tend to forget your destined location. So that's what hallucinations for AI too. So you want a desired output and there is something that some prompt you gave and it changes the output entirely, so you will not get the desired output. So it's a waste of time and it's a waste of effort that you have been using. So that's what hallucinations are. So essential for production level use. So you give a better prompt, you complete your task or your desired output, and you can complete it effectively within a stipulated time or within a time lesser than how what it takes by human hands. So this these the prompt engineering is much matter when you want to use a generative AI effectively. So this is why it matters most. So yeah, I showed you a pic of Buji from Kalki, right? So this is Jarvis. You might have seen it from Iron Man, right? So Jarvis is a perfect example of how what prompt engineering does to AI. So Buji was like it had hallucinations, it had a lot of it didn't give the desired output and everything. But when you see Jarvis, right, as an example, Javas tend to give you the exact desired output what Tony Stark is asking. So let's say Tony Stark is asking build a Iron Man suit. Tony Stark is asking to build a combustible engine for his boots. So something like that, right? So Javas tend to do that. It does everything what Tony asks. That's like that part of output is comes from both from Jarvis and from Tony Stark. So this is what effective communication between the AI and that communication we call it as prompt engineering. So yeah, and moving on. So how it is will be helpful in code generation, prompt engineering for code generation. So that's the actual topic, right? So coming to that, right? So you give a prompt to build a code and how it does, how the AI model does, or how the AI does. So it takes the natural languages and input and using that AI model, let's say like GPT 4.0 or say Sonnet or something, right? So some other AI models, right? So what it'll do is like it will process the natural languages input with the models it has, and it will give the particular code as an output. So this is also comes from this prompt. So natural language input is nothing but your prompt. If you use your prompt there as an effective one, you will get the desired output. Or let's say if you have you have if you have giving a if you are giving a half cooked prompt, it will not give you a exact output or your desired output. So that's the natural language input is the place where the prompt engineering plays a major role. So the let's on another terms, right? So let's say you're talking with some others. Let's say you're talking with people from other country or from other state. So you're just going to say something which is like you're just saying like do this, and the other person will not be able to understand, right? So how you're going to effectively communicate is like do this, and you need to go there and get some things from me for me, and then we'll do this. So something like that. So that's the effective way of communication, like understanding what other person says, or let's say like making them understand is a part of communication, right? So that communication is between person and an AI is known as a prompt engineering. Yeah. And yeah, so there are some certain principles when it comes to prompt engineering. So as I said, right, if you are not be clear and specific on what you described or what you want, right, you don't get you will not get the desired output. So if you put a random string and I say like do this, it will not do this. You just need to be say like create a picture of Cristiano Ronaldo, or create a picture of someone with the name, or some person with the name, right? So you need to be clear and specific on what you give. So that way it builds a better, and it process and builds a better and gives us a desired output. And you need to provide context and examples. So when I say this picture, right, so you just need to give a context. So the toy needs to be of this size, and it needs to have a metal logo on it, and you need to have a small football boots, and you need to have a trophy with Ronaldo as a smart toy, right? So you need to give a exact context, or let's say you just build a toy with Cristiano Ronaldo name. So it just gives a toy with the Cristiano Ronaldo name, but it doesn't have other things. So you will not get a desired output, right? So you want other things too. So you want it be complete. You don't want it like let's say you want 100% effective code, but based on your prompts, it only gave you 50% of your code. So then it's not an useful way to do it, right? So that's where like you need to be provide a context and examples. An example, you can say, you can put an output as an example. For example, if you want to get a data from your database, you say like I want user I get me user ID and a roll number, register number, and marks of a particular student. How can I get it? Give me a command. So that's how it will give. So and you just need to put an example like let's say put a name as John, and his department is CSE, and example the marks has been given accordingly from math, science to everything, right? So this is how you give an example as an output, and you get the desired output. So there is one more way we say it is called as templating. We just provide a basic template to follow this kind of steps or this kind of structure when you generate a code. So you set the template to that particular generative AI, and then you take on everything. So like you give a small prompt to write a code. It says okay, from the template you have defined like you just need to have a source folder, and you just need to have a where's folder and everything. So it will have everything what you have defined in the template. So that's where you gave an example of how the output needs to be generated, and how you exactly need the output. And yes, and next to the coming to the next slides, the step-by-step instruction. So you can't go and say just build a web application. Okay, you need to be specific. Like first, you need to be build a login screen for a web application, and then let's say you're going to build a web application for booking a movie ticket. Okay, and then you say like create a web application for a for movie booking system, and then with what language you need to get. So for example, you're going to use Python, or you're going to use Java. You need to you need to specify what step, what exactly you need, and then you can say like integrate with some APIs, or integrate with something like that, right? So you just need to give your instructions step by step, so that AI would follow that process, and the prompt is particularly in order, and then you will get the desired output. Let's say we change this prompt, okay, from the let's say like just build a web application with for a movie ticket. Then you put it as put a login screen something somewhere, and you put Python, like use Python or something for code generation. So what it is like, it will change the order, right? You just need to go order by order, like login screen, then to the movie booking application, how it is going to build is using Python, and then your desired output or your API which you need to integrate. So that's how you need to give a step-by-step instruction using when you use prompt engineering. So and then defining the programming language and constraints. So let's say you just put it as Python, okay, but we know that, right? as the software world is evolving, we are seeing like so much of releases of newer languages or newer versions of that language. So you might have worked with React 7, but now it would be a React 8, or you might have your application, you need an application with React 5, but now the standard is React 8, right? So you just need to specify which programming language, which version are you using, or you want to build your application, and particular constraints. So let's say not use external libraries for building this application. So something like that. You give a prompt of that. That's how it takes and it process everything, and it builds your application. So without that, if you give, it will take the default version of of the language which you specify, and also it will build it from the external using external libraries too, which you don't want. So that's how that's where you just need to be specific with in what you need. And then yeah, so you just need to iterate and refine prompts. So you just need to look into your prompt, what you're going to give, and then look like how it can be effective. So let's say, okay, I'm just specifying a login screen. So you need a backend to process. So you put a prompt like use a backend to process this application, and specify the backend to do this. So something like that, right? So that's how you iterate and refine your prompts, which you will get it, which will make a way to get your desired output. So these are like certain prompt engineering principle, which will be used to get your desired output. Yeah, so how you want to structure your prompt? So you want to have a complete code, or if you want to have a complete application built out, how we can use prompt engineering for successfully using generative AI to do the task. So first you will be like giving the description as a task description as a context, and then input or output format. So let's say you want to build a Python code, and Python code has to have an input, and this needs to be output, and you need to specify it as a prompt too. And then an example of outputs, something like when you look into work into hacker rank or something, just when you're practicing, right, it will say some examples of like this output needs to be there as a use case, this output needs to be there as a use case. So something like that you can give. And constraints, so as I said, like not to use external libraries, or only to use Python version 3.9, something like that. So that's how you can effectively structure your prompt for getting a better code. So, what are some prompt tuning techniques, right? So, there are something we can do with prompt engineering, like how to tune our prompts, how to get a better prompt to get a better code. So, how can we do that? So, there are some techniques we need to do. So, chain of thought prompting. So, let's say you're thinking, you need to have a full use case and how your application needs to work, and how everything needs to be, right? How you need to link your backend, and you need to link your front end to it, and also you need to containerize your application and everything. So that's how the chain of thought prompting does. So you just think of how you can give your prompts effectively, and you just need to be specific of everything, like I need to have this. I need to have this particular portion of code, and I need to have this particular logic which will do something. So which will be a part of my required output. So that's how this chain of thought prompting is. Before giving a prompt, just think of what you're going to do and what is the chain reactions which will be triggered based on that. And next is few short learning. Let's say you're just going to, you can give examples. So this is my input, and I need to get an output like this. For example, a palindrome number or something. You just need a function to get a palindrome number as an output. You can put the palindrome number as an example and say this needs to be an output. This needs to be a use case which needs to be completed by my code. This needs to be my use case which my code can able to be generated. So that's how you just need to give an example of it, and then as a prompt, and then your AI model will generate code based on it, right? So and then zero shot versus few shot comparison. So let's say you are just going to put it as a you don't give any constraints. So if you don't give any constraints, or you just leave it as a generic one, so build a application, web application, build a Python application, so something like that, it doesn't understand, right? So you if you there is also a way like it, generative AI will not give you the exact code, but like the exact output. It will give you a few short, like let's say you're putting it as like build a web application for booking a air ticket with Python as a front end, and it will give you an output, but it will not give an exact output. You just need to reiterate, and you need to go through the code, and you need to understand what the code does, and then you need to build your application. So that's what two shot comparison is. And then prompt templates for repetitive tasks. So as I was mentioning before, using templates for generating your code. You set a template version, so you set a template for building a code. For example, when you come to DevOps, you might learn about Terraform. So there is a structure how Terraform needs to look. So using a modules to using a vars folder and using input.tf and variables need to be in variables.tf, and everything needs to be in particular files. So for building an application, you need to have your source code in your source, and you need to have your vars defined in your vars folder, and that's a template you just need to set it. So you are going to build a web application, you just need to have a standard structure of it or a standard template of it. That's that's how you specify the template, and you can do it. So this way it can help you for the repetitive task. So this way you can tune your prompts to get the exact output or the desired output. So yeah, there is also we know like generative AI is not a complete product, or also it doesn't give you a complete output too. So there are some limitations and pitfalls when it comes to prompt engineering with generative AI too. So hallucination risk. So as I was mentioning before, hallucination is nothing but driving away from what you get, and what you want to get, and what you get. So that it's a difference of the output, or this of the desired output. So you can have your code, you can give you a output of it, but that output doesn't give you your desired output. So that's hallucination. It might tend to lead you in a wrong way, maybe to, let's say, you want to fix some bug in your code. It might entirely change your code. So that's a risk of hallucination, right? So you need to be specific in your prompts, what you give, and so that we can get the desired output. And security concerns, so mass generative AI is in the beginning stage, maybe in the mid stage maybe. So let's say it might not work, like it might not care about the security concerns. Maybe you might have heard about log4j for logging and all those, right? So that ChatGPT might not know about it. Just give if you give a prompt, it just goes with the AI model and generates your code, and it doesn't work on any security measures until you specify it. And I'm also not sure like AI can do entire security too. Okay. And then licensing and code ownership. So let's say you build your full application, and you can do a startup, but who will be the owner of a code? It might be your idea, but it is not like you build the code. It is entirely built by ChatGPT or GPTs or any AI models, right? So it will not be licensed under you. So that's one of the limitation when it comes to code generation with generative AI. And a model context limitation. So you specify a context, and that context may not be possible for the AI to do that. So that's a limitation for generative AI to get the outputs to. So yeah, this is the limitation and pitfalls. So how to use it effectively, how we can generate results, and how we can better use AI to complete our task, right? And how we can, let's say, you can't just go and like generate your code and just give it as like I have done completed the task in this. So you just need to test thoroughly, test your outputs thoroughly, and you need to test the code for accordingly for each use cases what you need and everything. And always review the generated code. So you can generate a code with AI, but if you don't have the knowledge of what your code does or like what your code is doing, you don't then it's not of use. Let's say there is something that fails, okay, and also you don't know you don't know where it fails, you don't know how it to fix or how to troubleshoot, right? So if you don't know about your code, or if you don't review a generator code, and if you don't test it right, then it's a matter of failure for a person who's going to use the code. And and the third best practice is use the AI as a collaborator, not a replacement. So you can use AI to collaborate and write a code, but you can't replace your entire thoughts or your entire code writing with the AI. So as I was mentioning before, um be specific and give what you give, and the logic needs to come from you, or the structure of code you needs to come from you. So you can let's say you can collaborate with AI to complete the task effectively, but you can't, like, let's say, without you giving the prompt, without you doing nothing, you can't use AI as effective as a replacement for you. And and the fourth one is like keep up with model updates and change-outs. So look into the model updates, and what are the changes that is being done to the models, and how effective will the code be, and if there is anything particularly that is being termed in the model releases. So that way we can keep up how we are going to give a prompts and how we are going to generate a code. So these are some best practices to be followed. And yeah uh, the future of prompt engineering. So how the future when it comes to generative AI, right? So prompt engineering is not only used for generating code. It will be used for multiple purposes like text, or let's say AI image, or AI video, or an audio kind of thing, right? So that's where the future of prompt engineering also. So without better prompt, you don't get the desired out. So the prompt engineering is essential for generative AI to understand the natural language context and to give the desired output. So when it comes to the future of prompt engineering, there is the prompt tools will be there. So for, let's say, you just give a context, and it will modify your context to get a desired prompt, and that prompt will get your desired output. And multimodal prompting. So this is like as I was showing you before, the a image of toy that is being generated by AI, right? The Ronaldo image, the Ronaldo toy. So that is also a part of like multimodal prompting. You say like you give me a readme document, I write a code, and you also provide me docs for this. So that's how you put a multimodal prompting. And meta prompting, so AI helping with writers better prompts. So that's one more feature of prompt engineering. And also, when we were talking about development of code, we talking about like template used for generating codes, right? So for further on, when prompt engineering is being developed to the full stage, you can be seeing like specialized AI agents for full stack development. You can install agent in your VS code, and you can like specify you just need to have build a web application with Python. that agents will take care of everything, and it will integrate with your IDE, and it will work on like generating all the codes. So further on, let's say you just need to fix a big and bug. You just specify this bug is there, this is the error I'm getting, just fix it. So it will go and fix it. So that's where the future of prompt engineering is. And also there are being tools that is being built on about on top of prompt engineering. So I know a tool which Presidio has built for using prompt engineering effectively to generate code and to generate or to, like, let's say, to build your application. So there are also tools coming in which will come in handy for developers to develop their code within a shorter duration of time. Yeah. And small Q&A if you have anything, any questions. Let me show you some demo of how you can do a better code using prompt engineering. So I'm just going to give a prompt. So this is going to create a Python function. So I'm using ChatGPT model. This is a free version of it. So I'm using create a Python function to reverse a string. So this is a simple prompt I'm going to give. So it just gives you the simple function. So it doesn't give you the exact code or anything. If the thing here is like it generates a code and it will give you some code. That's it. So you'll not get the entire file or entire folder of what you need to do, where your reverse string function will be used or something like that. So this is a simple prompt, how it will work. So I'm going to give a detailed prompt now. So this is a detailed prompt, like generate a Django REST API view to handle user registration with email confirmation. Use class-based views. Okay. So now let's see how ChatGPT is going to process this and give a output. So see here, it will give you the requirements. So yeah, I'm specific in my prompt. Use a Django REST API you to handle user registration with email confirmation. Use a class-based views. So this is my specific prompt I'm giving here. Okay. So see, if you can see in the top, we gave like a single simple function that gave you simple code to do. But if you are being specific, right, to specific to build a application or to build a particular use case, you just need to you'll be specific on what your use case does. So now you can see what is the how we can deploy this to Django REST API, right? So you just need to install your Django frameworks, and you need to have a settings.py where you will specify the setup of it. So default from email, site ID, and everything. And step two, models. This is optional. You can use it for the Django built-in user. And now you can see CLSS. So this is a different. This gives you CLSS.py for py document, or let's say py file. So you will have everything to look into, like username, email, and password, and you will have your views where you will process a backend of what the API can do and provide as an output. So this way you can have your views too. And you can see class here. So we specified a class-based use class-based views, right? So here Python here the ChatGPT is using class to give us an API for views. So this will give a register view, so where the user can go and register, the user can go and register. And this is one more class where the email verify view. So this API, what it does is like it will verify your email and for verify your email. And then step 5 is URL. You just get a URL from this for register or verify email for verifying email too. So it will give a sample output flow. You can go and look into your API tool to use this path. So for example, post/register, right? You can give it with username, email, and password. And also you can get verify email and the tokens and the encryption code and everything. So this is how you need to give it as a an exact prompt what you need. So then you can see, like, if you want to add some more things to it, right, you can also specify some things like is integrated to the SMTP or integrate with using JWT login. So something like that. It's also it's also a part of like iterative phase of building your application or your code. So this is one such example. And for a better prompting, I'm just going to show some more example. Mm. So you can see, right? So as a senior backend developer, create a Python function that connects to a PostgreSQL database, retrieves user information by user ID, handles connection errors gracefully, returns a dictionary with user data or non-if found, use prepared statements for security, include proper type hints and docstring, and there is an example also specified here. So example usage, user is equal to get user by ID and the expected return is ID and the name and with the email ID. So this is what the expected return or the expected output is. So I'm being more specific in my prompt. So you need to connect to a PostgreSQL database and you need to retrieve the user ID for user information from the user ID. And you need to do error handling. You need to use try and catch blocks, and you need to return a dictionary. The output needs to be in the form of dictionary, and use prepared statements for security purpose and include proper type hints and document. So, and we have also included an example. So this is how the prompt needs to be, how we need to be specific on the prompt. So I'm going to give this as a prompt to the chat GPT. Let's see what it's going to do. So as we have given a specific prompt, it's trying to, it's taking some more time. Now you can see the function code over here. So yeah, so this specifies like what it's going to do. You will get the function code importing and import your Python libraries and defining like get user ID, defining your function, and you pass the user ID and your output is like option and it's a form of dictionary what we specified in the prompt. So it will try to connect to the PostgreSQL database, and with that, it will write a query to get the data, and it will return it. So this is what it is, what it does, and you'll get an example. You get an it will handle errors, so you can see exceptions here. So this way you can you get your function code and your logic right. So yeah, so this is how you can use your prompt engineering to generate a code with your expected outputs and to use generative AI effectively. Um, yeah, I think I'm done. So yeah, coming to the end of sessions. So if you want to use prompt engineering, if you want to use generative AI effectively, look into prompt engineering and be specific on your prompts to give a clear use case or be clear on your constraints and everything. So yeah, that's it. Thank you and thanks for the opportunity. I hope I would have made some sense on prompt engineering. But if you want to connect, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and thank you.
Sir, Thank you, sir. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. First and foremost, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to our management for their constant encouragement and support in organizing events that enrich our academic life. I also wish to express my gratitude to our principal, Dr. N. Anbucharian, our dean, Dr. K.K. Tyagarajan, for providing encouragement and giving us an opportunity to organize the event. Your guidance is always a source of inspiration for all of us. On behalf of our R.M.D. Engineering College, I would like to thank today's speaker, Mr. Dinesh J, Senior Cloud Engineer, Presidio, Chennai, for taking his precious time out of his busy schedule to grace this occasion. Thanks for delivering such an inspiring and thought-provoking address. A special thanks to our head of the department, Dr. P. Erumalai, who have always been a pillar of support, guiding us not only academically, but also in organizing such wonderful events. Your tireless efforts and dedication are commendable, sir. Last but not least, I thank all the heads of the department, faculty members, and students for showing their interest in the program. I sincerely appreciate everyone who contributed to making this event a grand success. Once again, thank you all for being a part of this wonderful occasion. Let's carry forward the spirit of learning, collaboration, and growth that we have experienced today. Wishing you all a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dinesh.